You smell that, Alex? That's the scent of a Friday afternoon. It's a mix of Western red cedar and whatever high-tech polymer I accidentally melted into the carpet of the 3D printer room this morning.
Every time you start an intro with the scent of the workshop, I assume something is either being born or something is on fire. Which one was it today?
Little bit of both. It's May 8th, 2026, and we are officially diving into the TigerDen Daily. We've got new filament that's tougher than my grandfather's brisket, some serious talk about where the money is moving in the trades, and a quick reality check for anyone who's forgotten that Mother's Day is, well, it's roughly 48 hours away.
Oh, don't worry. I've already got the I forgot flowers on standby. But let's start with the tech. You were buzzing earlier about this new Rosa 3D glass fiber stuff. Since when does plastic need to be that intense?
See, we used to treat 3D printing like it was just for making little green plastic frogs or shelf brackets that snap if you look at them sideways. But this glass fiber TPU 75D, it's a different breed of cat. It's got that rubbery flexibility of TPU, but the glass fibers give it this backbone, this rigid structural integrity that makes it shrug off heat and chemicals. I tried to snip a support piece off a test print this morning and nearly ruined my favorite pair of side cutters. It's the kind of material you use when you're building something that actually has to work in a hostile environment like an engine bay or a high pressure valve.
So it's basically the Iron Man of filaments?
Exactly. It's for when you're tired of your prototypes turning into puddles. And speaking of things that don't give up, have you seen the Duroxen Desktop CNC lathe?
You mean the thing you've been refreshing the Kickstarter page for every 10 minutes?
Don't call me out like that, but seriously, the barrier to entry is just falling over. Usually, if you want a CNC lathe, you're looking at something the size of a small SUV that requires a crane and a second mortgage. This Duroxen unit fits right next to your monitor. It's making precision metal turning accessible to the guy who's working in a spare bedroom. It's the democratization of making things that spin perfectly.
I love the tech, Tiger. I really do. But let's play devil's advocate. If everyone has a CNC lathe on their desk, does that mean the real trades are in trouble? Because the data you showed me earlier says the exact opposite.
It's the great pendulum swing, Alex. For 30 years, everyone was told the only path to a paycheck was a cubicle and a spreadsheet. Now, the world is realizing we can't cloud compute a leaky pipe or a blown transformer. JLL just put out a report that should be a wake-up call for anyone looking for a career with some actual meat on its bones. We're looking at 9.5% growth for electricians by 2034. HV, AC techs aren't far behind at 8%. These aren't just jobs, they're essential infrastructure.
And it's not just crawling under houses anymore, right? You mentioned that Texas A&M project.
That's the spicy part. Texas A&M just broke ground on a $226 million semiconductor R&D facility. Now, you'd think that's just for people with 3 PhDs and a white lab coat. But who do you think builds the clean rooms? Who maintains the vacuum systems? Who installs the high-purity gas lines? It's skilled technicians. It's the intersection of a wrench and a microchip.
It sounds like the trade versus tech wall is finally crumbling down. You have to be a bit of both now.
It's a beautiful time to be handy, Alex. If you can understand a circuit diagram and you aren't afraid to get some grease under your fingernails, you basically have a license to print money for the next decade.
Speaking of printing money, or at least trying to, let's talk business. Our Maker Mogul segment. You're always telling people to build it and they will come. But in 2026, they usually won't come unless you shout about it on 6 different social platforms.
Yeah, the Field of Dreams marketing strategy died a quiet death around 2012. These days, you've got to be a bit of a Russell Brunson. You have to think about funnels. It's a corporate word that makes craftsmen want to go hide in the woodshed. But all it really means is, how do you lead a horse to water?
But Tiger, I look at these creators who spend 8 hours a day editing TikToks instead of actually making stuff. It feels, I don't know, a bit hollow.
It's exhausting. And that's why the biggest trend this year isn't a new app. It's the Geomaki strategic freelancer. I've talked to makers who were drowning in their DMs and failing to post. They finally swallowed their pride and hired a specialized marketer on Upwork, someone who actually knows what a dovetail joint is, to handle the noise.
So the lesson is, stop trying to be a one-man media empire if you're actually a one-man furniture shop.
Exactly. Consistency beats virality every single time. If you can't post every day, hire a pro to batch your content. Take one afternoon, record 10 videos of you just working, and let someone else do the dancing and the captions. It frees your brain up to actually do the thing you love.
All right, let's get into the stuff that keeps us sane. The weekend projects. And Tiger, please tell me you've done something for your mom.
Why do you think I have a scroll saw set up on the auxiliary bench right now? If you're listening to this and you haven't started a gift yet, don't panic. You don't need a month. You need a piece of cherry wood and a scroll saw. YouTube is absolutely crawling with these I love you heart patterns right now. They're perfect beginner's projects because the stakes are low, but the wow factor is high. It looks like you spent a week on it when, in reality, you just had a very focused Saturday morning and some high grit sandpaper. It's an heirloom quality gift for the cost of a scrap piece of lumber.
That's the emotional win. What about the I'm tired of looking at my ugly kitchen win?
Ah, the DIY countertop, the big one. Whether you're going with a butcher block look or a high durability laminate, people are terrified of this. But honestly, it's just big scale Legos. The secret isn't in the cutting, it's in the template. If you spend 3 hours making a cardboard template that fits your walls perfectly, the actual installation takes 20 minutes. I saw a guy try to eyeball a miter cut on a laminate counter once. He ended up with a gap wide enough to lose a ham sandwich in.
A ham sandwich? That's specific.
I don't want to talk about it. Let's just say it was a very expensive lunch. But look, whether you're doing a heart for your mom or a kitchen for your spouse, there is one universal rule for this weekend.
Let me guess. Measure twice, cut once?
No, that's a cliche. My rule is clean the shop first.
Boring. Nobody wants to spend their Saturday morning with a shop vac.
It's not about the dirt, Alex. It's about the mental bandwidth. If you're tripping over a pile of offcuts from 3 months ago and you can't find your square because it's buried under a mountain of sawdust, your project is going to be a stressful mess. Give me 1 hour of aggressive cleaning, clear every flat surface, and I promise you, your hands will move faster and your brain will feel lighter. A clear shop leads to a clear mind.
I'll give you that. There is something satisfying about seeing the actual wood grain on the workbench again.
That's the goal. So, whether you're diving into the trades path to find a new career, jumping into Maker Mogul to scale that business, or just sticking with DIY mastery to make your home a little nicer, just keep moving.
And maybe keep the ham sandwiches away from the power tools this time.
No promises. Get out there and build something, folks. We'll see you Monday.